Peninsula of this week's deadly assault, not only fraying nerves in South Korea, it's also caused quite a shakeup within that country's government, with folks still mourning the loss of the 4 people killed by North Korea's artillery barrage. The president there in South Korea today appointing a new defense minister. The previous one resigned yesterday, reportedly for failing to keep his military forces at the ready in an area that has seen repeated clashes with the North. With us now, Asian affairs expert Gordon Chang. He is also a Forbes.com columnist, the author of The Coming Collapse of China. Good to see you. All right, North Korea says we're on the brink of war. We're not really, are we?
I don't think so. What we are on the brink of is a descent to war or conflict on the Korean Peninsula. It will take a long time, because what we're seeing right now, and this is the frightening part of it, is an acceleration in their provocative acts. Usually the North Koreans take 2 or 3 years before the next incident. Now what we saw was March 26th, the sinking of the South Korean vessel, and then on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So
why are they accelerating it?
There are a couple things right now. In North Korea, in the capital, they've got the succession crisis. Kim Jong-il, the current leader, is 68, 69, and in pretty bad health. He's trying to pass power to his 27, 28-year-old son, who is clearly not ready, and he needs some accomplishments for the little kid. And so one of them was sinking a South Korean vessel. The other is shelling the South Korean island.
But this is a record, an old record being played over and over again. I mean, we have seen time and again that North Korea does something provocative to try to scare everybody to the negotiating table. And then, once they get billions in largesse from the West, then they go back on their promises to disarm their nuclear program. So this is the old, Lucy pulls the ball out from under Charlie Brown. And we're Charlie Brown.
Right. Though right now, Charlie Brown is sort of changing the posture a little bit. So, for instance, putting the George Washington into the Yellow Sea ahead of schedule, because it wasn't supposed to be there on Sunday. And so the North Koreans are going to be very upset about it. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't think we're on the brink of war, but nonetheless, we can see a ratcheting up of tensions, and, this could lead to a period of prolonged hostility on the part of the North Koreans.
China's really never done anything to rein in Pyongyang and Kim Jong-il. They could halt trading. That would have an impact, certainly. It might destabilize the region and cause them problems at their border. But China's not going to act here, are they? No,
China's not going to help. China, if it wanted to, could stop the North Koreans dead in their tracks. Because they supply 90% of the oil, 80% of the consumer goods, 45% of the food. They're each other's only military ally, and Beijing has backed up the North Koreans at the UN Security Council. But China finds this maybe amusing, but certainly to its short-term benefit, because every time there's a problem, we, the Americans, run to Beijing and say, please, please, please help us with North Korea. And, of course, the Chinese extract concessions from us. So the Chinese sort of like this dynamic, and we're not getting out of it. We need to sort of step back and do something different.
Well, what would that different be?
Well, I think what we could do is put on enhanced financial sanctions of the type that the Bush administration put together in 2005. That cut the North Koreans off from the international banking system. And also the South Koreans could stop the Kaesong industrial zone, because that supplies $500 million into Kim Jong-il's pocket and the pockets of the senior leaders in the regime. If we stop that, that would get their attention.
But doesn't that presume a rational response from Kim Jong-il and Pyongyang? And, it has been said of them that they're maniacal. You can't reason with them.
Well, they have their own sense of logic. But, these guys are very cunning, because over 6 decades, since the end of the Korean War, they've got the best of us almost all the time. We're the superpower and they're this destitute state, but they always seem to do so well against us, because they are very, very cunning.
Yeah, they play us like a violin every time, don't they? Yeah. All right. Gordon Chang, great to see you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Well, the story